guys, and welcome back to my channel. This is Shirley from A&L Creations, and today I'm coming to you guys with another video. I make epoxy dominoes, and a lot of people have been asking me about how I do them. So today I'm coming to you with the video to show you guys how I make these. I sell epoxy dominoes on my Etsy shop. And I post a lot of them in some Facebook groups and stuff that I'm in, and some of the ladies was asking how I make them. So since I have an order for Etsy, I'm gonna go ahead and make the set on camera with you guys. So I'm gonna show you everything that I'm using. I'm gonna bring the camera down. All right, so I got my domino mold. I got the glitters and stuff that I'm going to use. This is the paint. And, oh yeah, I got to get my micro powder too. But I got my alcohol, popsicle sticks. Well, these are craft sticks, rather. Craft sticks here. And then I got my cups that I'm going to mix my epoxy. And then I got some paper towels, some rubber gloves. I do have a mask, but I'm not going to use that, a respirator mask, but I'm not going to use it today because I'm recording. So I'm just going to put this on, and then I have my epoxy here. So, and I'm just going to go ahead and start mixing everything. One other thing I use is micro powder. So go ahead and grab micro powder. All right, this is the micro powder I'm gonna use today. So I'm gonna let you guys see. How I make these. All right. So, I'm going to move a few things out the way, including the mold for a second anyway. So, I'm just going to move that out the way. I'll get me a glove popsicle stick. And I hope you guys can see this. Okay. Alright, popsicle sticks. Get me some gloves. Got those. Right, and so normally I just kind of like eyeball my stuff. Alright, so I kind of like eyeball, and sometimes I have to get down on the floor. So you need equal parts. So I'm just gonna get down and eyeball it. I'm gonna probably put maybe about that much in each cup. Each cup, there should be enough to do my first layer of epoxy, because I'm going to do the first layer, let it dry overnight, and then I'm going to add the image tomorrow. So, we're going to go ahead and get started. Don't forget, guys, to like this video if you like the content, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell, so whenever I post new content you'll know. Okay, so I'm gonna move my chair out the way for 1 second. Hopefully I'm not moving the camera. Sometimes I gotta get down low so I can be able to look at the measurements of my cups. All right, so let me start with this one first. Let's see. All right, so that's more than enough. Actually, probably a little too much, but actually pour way too much. So I'm just going to pour a little bit of this back. Let's pour a little bit of it back just to make sure we got the measurements evenly. Because it definitely makes a difference when the measurements are not correct. So you want to make sure you got the right measurements. And I always find myself sometimes mixing too much, and then I have extra epoxy, which I hate doing because this epoxy is not cheap. So I really want to make sure I'm not using too much epoxy. It's close to being even. I should have just marked the cups so I can know exactly how much epoxy to put in there, but I don't know. I'm pretty good at eyeballing it, so I think it should be okay. Probably just a little bit more off, and then I think I'll be good. And we can start mixing everything. Okay. All right, guys. So I think that's good. All right. So put the cap back on here. Grab my chair. Sorry if I'm bumping the camera. Sorry. I actually don't have much space in my craft room. So now that I have equal parts, let's see. I'm just going to take these. I'm going to mix them. Let's camera just to tap it. Okay. Just trying to make sure you guys had a good view. I don't want my hands to be in the way. So normally what I do after that is I try to get all the extra out the cup. Because I don't want to leave any extra in the bottom of the cup, because we got to make sure we got the total of equal parts. So that's just what I'm doing now. Okay, so got that done. I think I pretty much got all of it. So now what I'm gonna do is just mix them, and try not to mix too fast, because if you do, it's gonna cause you to have bubbles. Bubbles. So. And then I make sure I scrape along the cup, because I want to make sure I get everything mixed well. And you'll know if it's mixed well because it's going to start turning more of a clear color. Because see, right now, I don't know if you can tell, it's not really clear. It's not really clear, so you'll pretty much know when it's ready because it'll be clear. So right now, I'm probably starting to stir just tad bit too fast, because now I'm getting a few bubbles, but it's not bad though. And so now I don't know if you can tell, but it's looking really clear. See how it's starting to look clear? So once it starts looking clear like that, then you know it is mixed properly. I got a few bubbles in there, but not many. So now what I do next is add my paint. And I only do a few drops at a time, only because I don't want to have too much. You can always do a little, add a little, do a little, and add a little until you get the color that you are trying to achieve. So if you check out my Etsy page, my Etsy shop, you'll see I got a set of Boujee Dominoes on there. So this is what I am doing today. Making a set of Boujee Dominoes for one of my customers. Let's see, that's the color I got right as of right now. And that's just the paint. So now I'm going to add in a couple of scoops of micro powder. Couple of scoops of micro powder in there. That's one. I'm gonna just go with 2 for right now. And then mix and see what we get. What color that we get. And then if I feel I need more micro powder, then I add more micro powder in. It's coming out cute. Can you guys see that color? Still a little light, but you still gotta add the glitter in there, and I can also add more micro powder just so it won't be so transparent. But it's not a big deal because the ones that I made are kind of transparent as well, so no big deal. Probably gonna add a little bit more paint. Okay, paints. A little more mixing. A little bit more mixing. Guys, make sure you wear your proper PPE. I have some goggles that I wear, and then I just ordered me a respirator. I had a cheap one that I got off of, I want to say, might have been eBay or Amazon, but this one here is the one a little bit better. I ordered this one from off Uline, the new one that I have. And then my hair's so big. Normally I put a scarf or something on, and then put my respirator on, but because I am so now I'm gonna start adding my glitter in. Add my glitter in now. And same thing with the glitter. I just add little bits at a time until I achieve the look that I'm going for. Okay, so it's just a little bit of sparkle. Just a little bit of sparkle there right now. So, and one thing I can say, you can't take too much time with this epoxy. I think I purchased this from Michael's. But you can't take, because for some reason it starts to heat up fast. So, yep, it's looking cute. Alright, I'm gonna add my next color that I want in there. Good. Alright. I'm gonna add this color in. I got some big specks in there. Okay, so alright, and then I'm gonna add my last color of glitter that I got in there. A little bit more of this. Oh. Alright. Yep, I think that's gonna be pretty. Alright. So now, guys, since I think I got the color that I want them to be. I got the color that I want them to be. And now we're going to get ready to pour into the mold. Okay. Alright. Alright. Now, I'm going to pour these. And then what I'm going to do is, they're going to sit overnight. And then tomorrow about this time, I'm going to go ahead and add the image on there. I actually have not printed the image and stuff out yet. Not printed the image yet. And then I always pour so much in and then just go back, and if I need to fill in some more, I will fill them in some more, just to make sure I got enough to fill each cavity, because I'm going on top of it tomorrow after I add the image and add a clear layer of epoxy on top. So this here will be the bottom part of the domino color, where I will put the color the dots. I guess I should have probably just moved the cup instead, but alright, so I'm gonna finish pouring. Yep. Just wanna make sure I got enough to cover my bottom. And it's so weird because sometimes I make too much epoxy, and then it's times where I didn't make enough and have to make a second cup, or not a full cup, but like a second partial cup. Second partial cup of epoxy to like finish it. So that was the only thing I hated when I first started doing dominoes, is I never could get the I could never get the proportions right. So I just made sure I bought some domino, not domino molds, but some like just extra molds. So if I had any extra epoxy, then I could just put the extra epoxy in the molds. So this is what I do. I just go back and keep filling each cavity until all the extra epoxy in the cup is gone. And then if I find myself having too much epoxy in one mold, I would just like use the popsicle stick to pull some of it out and just add it to a different one. So I'm just trying to make sure each one of them is fully covered, even though once it sit, it's gonna spread too. It's gonna spread. So that's normally what I do. So just trying to make sure. Let's see. Just trying to look to see who I can add a tad bit more to. Probably should have made a little bit more, but I think it'll be alright. Like I said, I still gotta add the top layer on anyway. So as long as the bottom is completely covered, then I'm fine. I think I'm fine as long as the bottom is completely covered. Yeah, I'm thinking now I probably should have made just a tad bit more. Just a tad bit more. I don't know, I keep looking like, kind of feel like I probably could have added a little more glitter. Especially this color here, but I don't know, I'm scared to sprinkle. Maybe I can sprinkle a little bit. Sprinkle just a little bit up. I don't sprinkle too much. Sprinkle it like it's some seasoning or something. Not too much, just a little bit of glitter. And some extra glitter in there. Only because I just feel like it's not sparkly enough. Just give it a little more sparkle. Just a little bit more sparkle. Just a little bit. So I'm gonna see if I could like take this, like stir it around just a little bit, just to mix it up a little more. Make sure I got a nice amount of glitter, nice amount of sparkles in there. All right. Just mixing a little more sparkles in there. I have to go and take the extra sparkles and fill all off the sides. get them all off there because I don't want it to mix with my top layer that I'm gonna put on there tomorrow. I just want to mix a little more glitter in there. Make them a little extra more sparkly. Alright guys, so this is going to be it for the first part of the dominoes. Until tomorrow, I'm going to go in and go ahead and print out the images that I'm going to put on here. And then that's gonna be that. Okay guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish mixing these up, and then when it's time for the next step, I'll be back. Alright guys, so it is the next day, and I let these set overnight, and this is what they turned out looking like. That's with the glitter in them. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and add the image, and this is the image that I'm going to put on there. So I'm gonna go ahead and add the image, and then after adding the image, I'm gonna use the 2 cups to mix the epoxy, which is just gonna be just plain clear epoxy that I'm gonna put across the top of the image. So I'm going ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and raise the camera down so you guys can watch me put the images on, and hopefully, let's see, sometimes I have the hardest time. This right here is like a printable vinyl, and let me get that out the way for a second. Printable vinyl, and for some reason, I don't know, I tried a different paper than what I normally try, and these just give me a really hard time getting it off. So I said I was gonna, I don't know, buy these no more. I'm not gonna buy this brand no more. I got this brand off of off of Amazon. And another thing I don't like, I don't know like how the paper, I don't know, like I guess from where the paper cut from the machine to cut around the image, I don't know, the paper's kind of flaking off. That's another thing I don't like. So it'd be like white specks. I don't know if you can see it, but white specks on the image, so I have to like kind of dust the image off like this to get it. But yeah, I don't know, the paper doesn't cut well. It's a sticker, so then I have to take my time. It seems like it takes forever to separate those pieces, and it's a sticker just like that. So I have to go through and peel all the stickers off one by one, and then stick them onto the dominoes. So I'm gonna raise the camera down, and I'm gonna let you guys see me do a few of them, and then I'm gonna do the rest of them off camera because it's gonna take me a while to do this part. So the only thing I do is try to even it out, try to make it sure they don't always wind up being, they don't always be even, but I try to even the image where it's about the same amount of space from the top to the bottom. So that's one, and that's the only thing I'm going to do. And I always print extra. It's 28 dominoes, but I always print 30 labels just in case I mess up one, I have extra. So what I'm going to do, guys, is go ahead and finish pulling all of these, get them all on, or probably do all of them except maybe the last 2, and I'll come back on the camera and show you guys the last, me adding the last 2. All right, be back. All right, guys, so I got them all on except for the last 2, so I'm gonna go ahead and do the last 2 on camera with you guys. So what I've been doing is still struggling. Still struggling getting them off. That one came off pretty easy though. So I'm glad about that. So, like I said, I'm just trying to get them as even as I can. They're not going to be perfect, but once the whole set is complete and demold, you won't even be able to tell. Okay, so let's get this last one on. Oh, I got lucky. Both of those came off with ease. So I'm pretty happy about that. Alright, so now, alright, so, alright guys, so we got them all on. This is what it's looking like so far. So now what I'm going to do next is go ahead and mix the epoxy. So this, move that out the way. And we're going to get both the cups. Get the epoxy and go ahead and get the epoxy mixed. And this time, I don't know, I don't want to do too much. So I'm probably going to do about maybe like right up in here. Maybe right up in there. Because I don't want to have too much epoxy left over. Alright, so putting my gloves back on. Alright, so get some of this poured in here. Yep. Come on. I poured a little too much. So, trying to think. I don't know, for whatever reason, I always wind up with too much epoxy and have to throw it away. So, really don't want to have to do that. Move that cup so you guys can see. So, I don't know, I still feel like there might be, well, I'm just trying to look at the cavity. Maybe I'm gonna go ahead and keep that. I'd rather have too much than have to, I guess, mix more. And if I have to mix some more, that means I'm gonna have to use 2 more cups. So let's move that. I'll get this one. Some waste down here. Okay. I'm gonna pour some of that. Okay. Now, let's see. You know what I like to do. So I'm gonna get down here so I can kind of look and make sure that they are both even. Let's see. It looks like I have to pour. I have to pour some of this. Just put a tad bit of this back out. Okay, let's see. I think a little bit more and they should be good. Okay, let's see now. I think got a few bubbles right there. Okay, probably should have left that a little tad bit. Shoot, I know that's gonna be too much. I knew it. Probably gonna start having to just mark the cups like I used to. I used to mark the cups at first. Alright. Okay, I think we should be good now. Smooth that out the way. Okay, so peek one more time. I think we should be good to go. That's crazy because it looks like it may be a tad too much. Alright guys, I think we are good now. Alright, so now we're just gonna go ahead, yeah, got epoxy on the gloves. Alright, so right now I'm just making sure I get all the extra epoxy from out this cup so we can get them mixed up good. Yep, I'm making a big mess over here. That's why I always put paper, either, newspaper or this U-Haul paper down. So make sure I don't mess up my table while doing this. Okay. Alright guys, I think I got everything I need. So slowly mixing until we get that clear consistency that we want. And then we'll go ahead and pour this top layer. And then once I pour this top layer, then I will let it sit again overnight until about, let's see, 6 something now. So I'll probably let these sit again until I get off for work tomorrow evening. And once I get off work tomorrow evening, I will let you guys watch me demold the dominoes. So I have to demold the dominoes, and then after demolding the dominoes, I'll go ahead and color in the dots. And I'll let you guys see me partway coloring the dots, and then I'll finish the rest of the dots off of camera. And then after I do that, then I'll just come back to you guys and show you what the completed set looks like with the all the dots painted. So we will do that. I'm getting a lot of bubbles, so I better slow it down some. Just using this to kind of wipe up some of this epoxy, because when I get ready to sit my mold down here, I don't want to get epoxy stuck to the bottom of my mold, which I've done before. You see how it's like, I don't know if you can see it. It's starting to clear up, but you can also see I got a few bubbles down up in there. So, and I unplugged my heat gun because I didn't use it yesterday. Thinking I probably would, but I normally use my heat gun to try to pop some of the bubbles. Try to pop some of the bubbles. Yeah, because I got quite a bit of bubbles in there. Quite a bit. So what I'm probably gonna do is go ahead and pull my heat gun out. I'm gonna have to take this glove off. Pull my heat gun out to try to pop some of the bubbles. Okay. Trying to take this glove off where I can use the same one, but that don't look like that's gonna happen. So go ahead and pull that off. This is my heat gun that I use to help to try to pop the bubbles. And I got this heat gun from off of Amazon. So, alright. So we got it plugged up. And then what I'm going to do is blow it. Some of the bubbles. See? Kind of pop some of the bubbles for us. So I'm excited about that. I mean, there's still some little tiny fine bubbles down up in there, but those aren't real big bubbles. And you have to make sure you move this around the heat. Because if not, it will definitely melt your cup. If you don't. You don't move it around, it'll melt your cup, and you don't want that to happen. Alright. So a little bit more mixing. This time I'm going to mix really slow. Just to try to eliminate putting even more bubbles in there. Some little tiny fine bubbles in there. But I'm going to use the alcohol to try to pop any additional bubbles. Alright, so I'm going to put on another glove. And now I'm going to start filling up the dominoes with the clear. So what I also like to do, I like to get down low with these as well, because that helps me, when I get down low, it helps me not to overfill the cavities. So we're going to get that done really quick. Alright, it's just some little specks and stuff that I see. Okay, so just trying to make sure some extra specks and stuff that's gonna dry in my top coat of epoxy. I guess that's stuck. Alright, so I'm gonna slowly pour, and I'm gonna start with this one first. And because I don't want to over pour, I always Start off by putting just a little bit in, let it spread out. And then I always have the option of coming back. It's a big piece of glitter. So alright guys, so taking my time, and right now I'm just putting a little bit at a time and let it spread out. Spread out in there. So let it spread out. So we can make sure we get even coats all the way around. Put a little bit more in that one. So make sure there's nothing in the cavities, because I definitely don't want it to dry down in there. Trying to make sure nothing's in there. I definitely, then like some of it I think is like the glitter from around the edges of the mold. So probably pour a little too much in that one for right now anyway. Alright, so we're just gonna keep going. Alright, so gonna finish filling these. So that's the only thing I'm gonna do, guys, is just continue to add a little epoxy to each domino until I think I have enough. So now, the thing I do now is just keep adding, and hope I don't have to mix anymore. Okay, so now what I'm getting ready to do is get down low. Get down low, and I'm gonna turn it this way so I can have a good angle and see what I'm doing. So I won't over pour any of them, and if I do, I just take some of it out. Just take some. Ooh, like that one, I'm gonna have to take some out because I over poured that one. Possibility. I normally do a pretty good job, but I guess because I'm recording, I'm over pouring some of them. So let's see. Some of them, I'm gonna have to take some out. Definitely. This is normally what I do is just get down low so I can see what I'm doing. Make sure it's enough in each cavity. Yep, I definitely can see it's a few of them I over poured, but it's no big deal because the only thing I do is just scoop the epoxy out and add it to a different one. And I'm glad I did the amount of epoxy that I did, because if I would have did any more, I would have definitely had too much. Right, just trying to get a good look. Let's put some here. This one need more. This one needs more. So yep guys, this is just all I do, and just keep pouring in each one of them till they look like they're leveled. Yep. Looks like it needs a little more. Okay. Let's see. Let's get this a little more. My table must be unleveled or something, because I don't know how. Which it doesn't matter, because once I put it up, it'll level out then. But right now I'm thinking my table is a little unleveled. Ooh. Alright, so take a look. Yeah, I'm gonna have to let them sit a little bit and try to get rid of a few of the bubbles, because some of them definitely have bubbles in them. Alright, so looks like I'm gonna turn it this way so I can make sure I'm getting a good angle on them. Let's see, this one looks like you can use a little more. Okay, so they all looking pretty good. It's a few of them that I'm probably gonna pull just a little bit of the epoxy out of, because it looks like it's a little too much in there, which is, let's see, I think I'm gonna pull some from out of this one here. This is all I typically do, is just like take it and just scoop a little bit out of it. Need more out of that one. Oh my goodness, this really got bubbles in it. And then they like riding over to the side, and I don't know why it's doing that. Like the bubbles gathering. See, there's several of them. Several bubbles. Okay, I think I'm gonna probably scoop some of that out, because it's a lot of bubbles. A lot of bubbles in that one. I'm just trying to think this was one of the ones I wanted to take a little bit out of too. So make us a lot in that. Okay, let's take a look. Take like a scoop from out here. Just a little scoop. A scoop from out of that one. And a scoop from this last one over here. Yep, I'm wasting epoxy. Okay, so this one looks like the scoop needs to come from out of this one too. Okay. Yep. Alright. Squat down and take a look again. They're looking a whole lot better, guys. This one here I probably can put a little bit, just a little bit in this one. Put a little bit in this one here, and then I'm gonna take some out of here because it's glitter on this one. Okay. Alright guys, so they looking pretty even. I'm gonna take a little more out of this last one here. Alright, so a lot of times what I try to do is like let it sit a little bit so I can watch the bubbles. Try to make sure they kind of pop where I don't have a, so we won't just have a bunch of bubbles. I think I'm gonna take a little bit out this one too. Alright guys, so what I typically do now is go ahead and just let them sit for a while so I can kind of watch to make sure a bunch of bubbles don't just be riding around in them. And I'll take some alcohol and kind of try to spray them to pop the bubbles. Alright guys, so for right now this is it. Like I said, I'm just gonna watch them, try to get some rid of some of these bubbles, and then tomorrow when I come back we'll demold and start to put the dots on, paint the dots. Alright guys, so this is how they look after drying overnight with the top coat. Nice and shiny. So what we're gonna do now is go ahead and demold the dominoes, and I'm gonna start the process of putting the dots on. Alright, so I'm gonna bring the camera down so you can watch me do the demolding of the dominoes. The only thing I do is kind of pull the mold back like this so I can start popping the dominoes out. Just kind of doing like that. Alright, just like that. Just kind of work them loose. Work them loose, work them loose, work them loose. Alright. And there you go. That's how they look. Hope you can get a good look. So I think it's cute. And it's the domino. Okay. Yep, that's how they turned out. So pretty cute. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and demold them, and then right here is just a baking sheet with paper towels and a sheet of paper. I'm just gonna lay on there so I can demold the dominoes, lay them there, and then start filling in the dots. Okay. So these aren't as see-through as the previous set that I made, but they are really cute. I like those. Okay, so let's finish getting them demolded. Then some of them have like this extra stuff on there from where I like filled the dominoes a little past the mark. But what I normally do for those, I got some little scissors that sometimes I either cut them off if I can cut it off, or I use a fingernail file and kind of file off the sides of them. So like that one there, I'm really gonna have to see how they have the extra pieces on there, but it's no big deal. So I'm gonna clean them all up. So I'm just gonna get them all demolded first. And then I'll go back and clean them off. Most time I like to use the scissors versus the versus using the file. Usually they both work good, but sometimes if you file too much, it's gonna dull out the domino, and we definitely don't want to do that.
Mommy, why are you trying to make noise? I can really eat. Look at that M&M's Daddy gave me.
Okay. All right, so I'm just getting them all demolded. So I got them all out. That's the empty mold, and I always keep my mold in a plastic Ziploc bag. Only because I don't want it to accumulate a lot of dust, but I'm actually have to clean it this time because I have all the extra glitter laying around the edges of it. So the next time I need to use my mold, I won't have the glitter on there. So just gonna bag it up for right now. I always just keep it in the Ziploc bag. It keeps dust and stuff from settling down in it when I'm not using it. So that's that. And okay, so I got these little scissors here. This is the color that I'm going to use to fill the dots in the dominoes. So right now, we're just going to go against the edges. Let's see. And this is the file that I use. So normally whatever if I can't get it to cut off, sometimes I'll go against it with the file. Or like sometimes I got these nails on them, but at first I would like scrub my fingernail across it and try to get it off that way too. Because the less filing that I have to do, the happier I'm with. So I prefer not to have to file. See how I just cut that little piece off and it came right off? So that's kind of what I like to do. You can see that. But yep, I just like to kind of do that versus always filing it, because the filing actually will dull it out, which I hate. So I try my best not to overfill, because if you do, that's exactly what's going to happen. So what I'm going to do is, as I clean them, the edges, I'm going to flip them back. I'm going to flip them this way so that, okay, so I'm going to flip them back this way so I can know which ones I've done and which one still needs to be done or looked at. You definitely have to be careful because you don't want to mess them up. Okay, if that's okay. So what I'm probably going to do...
Mom, can I have a drink?
Go ask your sister. Okay, so what I'm probably going to do is Try to avoid fouling them if I can. Only because I hate I got these nails on now. At first I would do it without the nails and it worked just fine. As far as getting the edges, I just don't want to scratch the domino up or scratch my nails up either. Okay, so that's basically the only thing I'm going to do is just go around and clean up the edges. So what I'm going to do is, guys, go ahead and finish cleaning up all the edges. And when it's time for me to paint the dominoes, the dots on the dominoes, then I'll come back. Because this probably is going to be a little time consuming. And I don't want the video to be super long. So I'm going to go ahead and finish cleaning these up. And I'll come back. Alright. Alright, so I got all of the dominoes painted. All the dots painted in the lines. I have 2 dominoes left, so I decided to come on the camera so you guys can see how I do the last 2 dominoes. So basically what I do is take a small amount of paint like that, squeeze it in, and then I just take the tip and just kind of spread it around. Because at first, well, with certain colors, and this is one of the certain colors, I was just taking like a big glob and would squeeze it in there and then just let it sit and dry. But what I noticed was, I guess air bubbles were up under the paint. So as it would dry, the air bubble would pop and leave like a weird little hole in the middle of the domino. So I decided to do it this way, which takes a whole lot longer because I'm actually like spreading it around the hole to make sure everything is covered. So make sure that everything is covered, versus the way I was doing it before made it really, really easy because I just go down each one, squirt it in, and just let it be. Certain colors I can do with that, but for whatever reason, I noticed this is a matte color, and it seems like the matte colors don't work that well. So I'm not going to be able to do it with the matte colors, and unfortunately it sucks big time because a lot of the paints that I bought, I found, well, once I looked at them, they're matte colors. So, but I mean, they already bought now, and then I got them from different places, anywhere from like Walmart, Hobby Lobby, and Michael's. So like they all mixed in, and I don't know which ones I purchased from where. So with that being said, I'm stuck with the matte ones because I would have liked to take them, liked to take them back and exchange them and got like maybe one of the glossies, or they got all different type. I can't remember what all ones they had, and when I was purchasing them, I didn't even think about that. I just grabbed paint. Just grabbed the paint. So, but you live and learn. So, I mean, like I said, it still work. I just can't go as fast as I would like. So, anywho, this is what I do until I complete them all. And then once I complete them, I let them dry. Either I let them air dry, either overnight, or it just depends on how early I actually start on a set. Most of the time I'm starting when I get off work in the evening. So most of the time they always sit overnight. Or sometimes if I'm like in a rush to get the set done so I can get it shipped, then I will actually set a fan in front of them, and that helps them dry faster. So once I'm done filling the dots, let them sit overnight. By the time I get off tomorrow, I can actually seal them. So normally what I do, I bought a I think it's Rust-O-Rem sealer, a matte clear sealer from Walmart, and I normally spray the dominoes with that so that it'll seal the paint. Because if the paint get wet, it actually will come off. And the only reason why I know is because when I did one set and all the little holes were in there, I just used a toothbrush with a little Dawn dish soap and some water and actually brushed the paint right out of it. So that's the reason why I for sure know that the paint washes out. So I don't want that to happen with my customers. So even though they probably won't wet them, but just in case, because who knows, they may spill something on them and need to clean them off. So I like to make sure I seal all of my dominoes. So but this is the reason why, because you see how time consuming this is. That's alright. So still filling the dots. Alright, so let's see. So that's how it's turning out. Moving on to the next one. Alright, yeah. So like I said, it's a little time consuming. If anybody out there that does dominoes and you got a faster way of doing this, please let me know. Any suggestions are welcome. As long as I don't have anything to do, I really don't mind doing them like this because I want them to look really nice. So when my customer gets them, they'll be happy with their dominoes. Alright. And then I just like keep turning it around because I want to make sure I don't have any empty spots, because it's been times before where I go back and look at them and I notice I didn't miss the spot. So I just keep turning it around and spreading and spreading and spreading. Just keep on spreading them. Spreading the paint, rather. I keep saying spreading them, but spreading the paint to make sure it's nice and coated with the paint. So doing dominoes are really time consuming, to be honest. I keep trying to decide if I want to continue doing them or not, because it does take up a lot of time. And then it'd be nice if you can do them like all in the same day, but epoxy does not dry that fast. I've been thinking about getting an epoxy dryer. I hear a lot of people talk about the epoxy dryer where you can put it in and it'll dry the epoxy over a couple of hours versus overnight, or so many hours it dries it quicker, but I don't know how safe it would be to actually heat up epoxy. Okay, so I got those two done. So only thing left now is to fill the line. So what I do to fill the line, I get right in that corner, I squeeze just a little bit, and I just slide it just like that. You got your line. And try not to squeeze too much paint because it'll flow from out of the side, and I don't know. I mean, you can go back and clean up the paint, but if you take your time, you won't have to. And I don't like having to go back and clean the paint. That's what I would have to do when I first started learning how to make dominoes. I would have to go back and clean, and I don't know. I think that's what kind of took the fun out of it. But those are the last two that I did. So only thing now for me to do is to let them dry, which is taking so long that honestly the first ones that I did are actually look like they're already completely dry. So what I'm probably going to do is put a fan on these. I have this little fan here. I purchased this little fan here, and then it has a USB port, and I think that's what it's called. But it has a USB port, and what I normally do is just plug it up and sit the fan on them. I'm going to do that, let them dry all night, and when I get off tomorrow from work, I'm going to go ahead and seal them. So before I seal them, I'll show you guys what I'm going to seal them with. Let this dry overnight, and once I get off work tomorrow, I can go ahead and seal them and let them sit all night, Friday night into Saturday, and then I can go ahead and get them shipped out. Alright guys, so I will be back when it's time to seal the dominoes. Alright guys, I came back to show you the finished product. So this is how they turned out. And this is the back side of the domino. So I think they turned out pretty cute. I'm gonna go ahead and let the camera down so you guys can get a better look at them. And that's how they look. Alright, and then this is the case that they're gonna go in. And I also told you guys I will show you what I seal the dominoes with, and this is what I use. I got this from Walmart in the paint section. Not sure how much it costs, close to $5 I believe. But yep, so I hope my customer is happy with her set. I'm excited on how they turned out. So only thing left for me to do now is to go ahead and get all my photos so I can post them on my Instagram, Etsy, TikTok, my business Facebook page, and my regular Facebook page. Alright guys, so that is pretty much it. If you guys like the content of this video, please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you will be aware of whenever I post new videos. Alright, thanks guys.